Beast mode, yeah. Beast mode, beast mode, yeah. Beast.
What's good, YouTube? Y'all know who it is. Vince G, the Swole Nerd. Today, I'm bringing y'all my opinion on what is the best shaker bottle, what to look for, what to get, you know, all that good stuff. So, to begin with, I have three right here with me. I have a lot of different shaker bottles. I've used a few different kinds, and so I'm going to narrow it down to the top three that I use most often. So what we're going to start with is the quality of how it's built. This is a regular blender bottle. For those of y'all who haven't used one, they're like maybe $10, $15, but I mean, they're pretty generic, pretty common. Go to Walmart, you can get you one. If you ever felt the plastic on it, it's not super thick. It's thick enough, I guess. I mean, it gets the job done. You can hold, you know, easily 2-3 scoops of protein in this with a lot of water. So it's real big and tall, but keep in mind, they also make them short style too. Now, the big deal about these is that it's the blender ball. Now, one problem with these kind is that this gets all clumped up with protein. Anyone who's ever used these will know that this always get clumped up, and I mean, let's face it, that's a big chunk of protein you're missing. Moving on to the next one, it's got a pretty generic lid mixer. It's got a pretty generic mixer. One problem is that if you've ever mixed it before, it'll be all clumped up still in the bottle. You'll have big chunks of clumps in it, basically. The next one is made by Umaro, and it has this little ball right here. Similar to the blender ball, but it won't get all caught up in it. Moving on to the next topic, we're going to go with smell. Anyone who has ever used one and either left the protein in it for too long, maybe you just didn't get around to washing it, maybe use it all the time, will know that that it smells pretty bad, especially this one. The blender bottles, they don't retain the smell that much, but it also depends on how often you use them. The Umaro one, I mean, I don't smell anything from it yet. I've been using it for about a week or two now, and just nothing. It just doesn't retain any smell to it. So I mean, I like that a lot. Whoever washing their dishes will like that. If you wash the dishes, I'm sure you'll love that too. It's just, I mean, it still smells good. They're supposed to be odor resistant. These ones are. Another problem with this is the plastic material. Like I was saying earlier, this one is real. It's not cheap, but it's not the best. Of course, this one's thicker, but this one's extra thick. I feel like you can drop this on the ground and it won't break it off. Let me see if you can hear this. I mean, you can tell it's made of real quality stuff. The next topic would be loudness. If you've ever used one of these, you know how annoying that can sound. Some people love that sound, some people hate that sound. I've heard many people say how annoying it is from, I guess you could say, you know, people who don't go to the gym. Like, they despise that sound. So some people will strictly avoid these because of that noise. Others, you can get like this, but it won't mix super well. Or you can get kind of like this. They'll still make a little bit of noise, but not near as much as that. So I mean, if sound is a big factor for you, I wouldn't suggest getting a blender bottle. I'd suggest getting something with just like a generic mixer in it, or maybe even something like this. Now, one of my biggest, this is my number one thing when getting a shaker bottle, is the cap. See, let's compare these two real quick. This one, it's got a pretty nice feel to it, but a big problem with this and this is that if you have any protein right here, you're not going to be able to shut it right. Right, it's happened to me so many different times to where I think it's closed, but it's really just popped open just a little bit, throw my gym bag on the ground, and it just spills all over the place. Look, this is going to be with one side tightened. See how easy that comes up? Now, I remember this one time, it happened for like a week straight, just constantly. My protein would spill all over my bag. And I hate it because I personally don't have a designated spot for my shaker bottle. I just throw it in my gym bag and just take it with me. Some of y'all may have a designated spot, but I mean, I personally don't. And so it just constantly spills everywhere. And I don't know about y'all, but that gets pretty tedious, cleaning it out, taking everything out, cleaning it off, letting it dry, and then putting everything back in it. So if lids are a big concern for you, as it is for me, I would suggest one like this. It's got this real thick rubber feel to it, where you gotta fight with it to pull it off. And then you gotta push it in. See, look at that, can't open, you gotta go beast mode on this thing. Just to open that. I really love this style of lid because it won't come loose at all. See, I mean, you have to really pull on that until you get it right here perfectly. So that'll save a lot of protein. That'll save a lot of time, strictly because you don't have to clean off this little lid part right here. Some of these, the shaker bottle may be clean, but you have to get like a toothpick to get all that extra little stuff out, and I hate that. So let me show you a cool feature on this Umara one. They actually have a spot specifically for your protein. It's advertised as being able to drink water from it, and then once you're done drinking water, you can put the protein in it. Or some people like to put their water in first, then the protein later, but don't like to carry around a big jug or something with it. So what it is that it has this little hole in there. I'm using some MTS Whey. 5% link in the description if y'all want to get y'all some. The MTS Whey, their scooper is a little too big. Most normal size protein scoopers should be able to fit this perfectly. So what I'm doing, I'm just putting it in this water. This is 1 scoop. Dang. And it can fit, it fits almost 1 scoop perfectly of the MTS Whey. Now, keep in mind, that's a big scoop. So most scoopers aren't that big. Go ahead and knock a little bit of this off. But like I was saying, the big thing about these is that if you want to use this as a water bottle, you can. You don't have to worry about bringing another water bottle, because I mean, let's face it, you're already carrying a lot of things as is. No one wants to lug around this, a water bottle, a BCA bottle, just all kinds of stuff like that. It lowers the amount of things you have to carry with you. So it's got this top right here, and that goes in perfectly. Look at that. See if you can see this. There's no struggle whatsoever. Pop it in. You empty out this excess part. Pop it in, and it's a real cool feature because after you're done drinking your water, say you want your protein, get a good view of this. You ready? And it comes out like that, and you can mix it up. So all in all, this is actually my number 1 favorite protein bottle out of all the ones I have. Strictly because it's not gonna open. I can put protein in there if I want to, but I personally just throw it in there. I mean, I don't really wait to mix it up or anything, but some people do care about that. They like to have the water and then the protein so it mixes perfectly. Let me show you how this mixes up real quick. Close this up. And see if you can see this. Looks like there's no clumps. Just it mixes perfectly. Whereas, I'll show you all on this too, might as well. Show you all the mixability on these. We'll do 1 scoop since I only use 1 scoop on that. Okay, see, you can see it. Well, I can see it. See if the camera can see it. Keep in mind, I use 2 scoops, so there's a lot more left over, but there's still a little bit of chunk right there. So I'm mixing it up. It gets lower and lower, but the more protein you use, the more chunky it's going to stay down there. This is only 1 scoop, so it mixes very well. So that's been my review on what kind of shaker bottle I personally like best and which ones y'all may like better. This is my number 1 choice. So if y'all do decide to get one of these by Umara, you know, tag me to them. Vince G, the Swole Nerd, is my fan page, where it's the Swole Nerd for my Instagram, or Vincent Garza for the Facebook, you know, whatever. Go ahead and tag me to those. Let me know what y'all think about. I have a link below if y'all decide to get y'all one. But anyway, I'm Vince G, the Swole Nerd, and remember, stay awkward.